you mentioned this individual's now making more money than he's ever made. And talk about quite a miraculous turnaround from what was a bowel clenching year of like, what's going to happen? Everything shuts down, lockdowns, the whole world deals with the pandemic. Now none of us can watch a good pandemic movie because we realize that, no, we don't turn into zombies. We actually just have to stay at home and watch Netflix. We have to stay at home. Talk about the inception of a pandemic is sitting at home during a pandemic, watching Netflix movies about pandemics.
All right.
But the point being is people are breaking records, like shattering records. We're coming fresh out of a pandemic where nobody knew what was going to happen. And you're saying we sold 690 and essentially we are going to 700 and then 800 and then whatever. There's the flip side of the industry there. And I know you've heard it on Clubhouse. I've heard it on Clubhouse. There's a lot of pontificating going on around the impending doom of the car business the way we know it. There's those saying we're getting nice and fat right now, but wait, because there's a storm coming. And I have to admit, I do tend to say, hey, be prepared. I don't know if it's the Boy Scout in me.
But I think with all of us, yeah.
But what are your thoughts? Like, what do you see from your vantage point the next 3, 5, I don't know, 10 years? What is the industry going to look like during that time frame?
You know, I had this conversation. I went to NCM training just recently, and I have my last class for executive training next week or the following week. And I basically just told them, look, the next 5 years, you're going to continue to see a lot of consolidation. You see Lithia buying up dealerships left and right. You see AutoNation. You see all of these stores that are consolidating. They're buying a lot of stores. And so you'll see these groups, you'll continue to see them get bigger because they're just buying out all the smaller stores. But I think of any good operator, you know, whether it's a down market or an up market, the best always do good. And you know, they say success is a lousy teacher. And that's why I don't care how many cars I sell or however successful we get, it's never good enough to me because I always look at all of the inefficiencies where we could have done a little bit better. And I never let anybody forget where we could be. As great as it is, you know, we still celebrate the wins, don't get me wrong, but I still make sure that I keep everybody grounded in knowing that there's still opportunity. As great as we are, there's always a way.
Yeah.
And as long as we don't get romantic about winning every day, we'll continue to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you've got the Chicago Bulls. You've got that Chicago Bulls just won our 5th championship. We don't know we're going to win the 6th one yet, but we are. But you celebrate for like 5 minutes, and then you're back to work.
Exactly.
Now, here's the controversial question of the day. That single point store who's wondering about the future, what would you say the indicator for them ought to be to whether they should sell to the Lithia or really make a go of this and see what can be done?
Well, for those ones, you're either in a position where you think big and you want to get big, like Glenn Lundy, right? That little rural store that he went up to 1,000.
Right.
If you're in that mindset, then just keep going, right? But if you're not, this is probably the most money you've ever made as a dealer because margins have been the biggest they've ever been. Then you're going to get the biggest multiple you've ever had. Then this is probably an opportunity for you to just kind of, you know, hang up your hat. Now, if you want to grow and do more, then there's that opportunity. I mean, there's dealers that I know that are in those smaller markets that are doing a great job pulling from those bigger markets, and they're super successful. The challenge in those ones is, you know, you might pull a lot of people in, but you're not retaining those UIO for your service department. And that's really where most dealers don't really focus as much as they should is in the service department. or growing the service department.
I'm Michael Cirillo, and you've been listening to the Dealer Playbook Podcast. If you haven't yet, please click the subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. Leave a rating or review and share it with a colleague. Thanks for listening.